Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Badman Reviews. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Crash 4 demo. I was able to get my hands on one and play it. I streamed it live for you guys over on twitch.tv/badmanreviews and we all had a blast. Well, most of us. I didn't have quite a blast at certain aspects, but we'll get into that a little bit. This is my first impressions on the Crash Bandicoot 4 demo and everything I feel about it so far. Now, I realize that there's probably information out there that I'm unaware of because I haven't been keeping up with Crash 4. I'm trying to keep it as secretive as possible for me, no spoilers. So the only information surrounding Crash 4 I have is this demo and some basic stuff like you go back in time and there's masks with powers. That's it. Oh, and Tana's back. So, what did I think? Well, overall, it was a great experience. The game looks beautiful. All the animations are spot on. It's just hard to explain, but the animations were spot on. The stopping animations, like where you're standing still, the idle animations, that's what I'm looking for, were just fantastic. Just every little thing in the background reacted to you. Artistically, it was great. It was beautiful. I loved it. Both levels that we got to see, there's 3 levels, but technically only 2, were great in design. They both had their own aesthetics to it. They gave us fire and ice in the demo, which was kind of cool. So let's start off with the first level we have, and that's a snow level. It's based around ice climbing and different icy waterfalls and weird looking Viking fisherman dude. It's a cool theme that it's got going on, and it's our first experience with the time stop mask. And a lot of the puzzles in this level have to deal with that mask. And at first it was hard for me to get used to it, just because it was a new mechanic, I guess. But I ended up liking it in the long run. It just didn't feel right at first, and I was kind of upset with how it worked, because I would hit the button and then I would have trouble getting to the boxes to break them. But after I played it a couple times and started getting used to it, and even came back to the levels a couple times to replay them, I really started getting the hang of it. I really started enjoying the puzzles and finding myself getting really immersed in the timing of the puzzles and having to pause at just the right time to get through a certain puzzle to get to where I needed to be before the time that I could pause ran out. I don't think there is a good enough inclination of when your ability is going to end, though. That was one thing that I kind of didn't like, was that there's no real no noticeable, at least, sound effect that plays when your ability is about to end. So you can be in the middle of a jump and you can think you're gonna make it, but then your ability just ends, and it just kind of sucks not being aware of when it's gonna end or not. It's just one small minute thing in the grand scheme of stuff. The whole level in general, it was good. I liked it. A lot of really tough, challenging platforming in that. The second level we got was Dino Dash, which obviously harkens back to the old school Crash ways, where you just have big old dinosaurs chasing you down. It was great. I love this level for the most part. We'll get into it in a bit. We got to experience another mask in this one, and it was this one felt more gimmicky than the other ones. It was kind of they gave it to you in a specific segment where you have to go down this vine, and it allows you to turn things on and off and turn boxes on and off while going down the vine. And they give you a little bit of time to experiment with it before going down the vine to kind of realize, okay, well, if I press this button, boxes appear, and if I press this button, boxes go away. So you have plenty of time to experiment with it before you go down the vine, but then that's kind of it. There's no real other point of it in the level besides the vine segment that I can kind of remember off the top of my head. It would have been nice if there was segments where you're running away from the dinosaur and you had to turn things on and off to get through them or get by them. There's a wall that you couldn't get through, and then you can make it go away to run through it and then make it come back, and then the dinosaur would run into it and it would slow the dinosaur down to give you like some time to get ahead. It's like something like that would have been cool. Or just anything in the platforming aspect of, like, you'd have to jump across some boxes to get to the other side of a lava pit, and like some of the boxes are invisible and some of them aren't, so you'd have to like change back and forth as you're jumping across these boxes. But there didn't seem to be anything like that in this level, at least. Maybe there'll be stuff like that in the full game, but so far what they showed off in the demo, there wasn't really too much with that mask that was more than, you know, a gimmick, I would say. Now, my biggest issue with this level was the difficulty. I don't know how far in this game this level is, if this is a later level or an early level, but for a somewhat kids game, some of the segments in this level are brutal. Specifically, I know the community knows very well the lava pit is, it's dumb, man. Like having to slide under those barricades and then jump up. Like, it just requires like the perfect timing on your jumps, and then if you fuck up the landing, you get killed by a lava bubble. And then like all the platforms you have to land on are really small, because half the time you have to land on like one crate, and then you have to like time your crate jumps to like the next thing coming, and if you don't time it right, then the TNT that you have to land on kills you. It's just, the challenge is way too high, and I noticed that on my first couple playthroughs, that a lot of the platforming and whatnot felt really, really, like the skill on it just felt really high compared to old Crash games. And there was no Aku Aku boxes. Most of the old Crash games, you would get 2, 3, maybe even more Aku Aku boxes per level. But this game, it gave you like one Aku Aku box like halfway through per level, which was just brutal. I thought I don't know, it would just bug me. And I get like if you die enough, they'll just start giving you Aku Akus, but I feel like that's just kind of a cop-out. I feel like you should probably have one like 1/3 of the way through the level and another one at 2/3 of the way through the level, at least. Having one like halfway through is just like, what if I was struggling my ass off with the first half and then got the Aku Aku mask, and then the second half was just easy? And it's just like, I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of how the Aku Aku masks were spread out through the entire level, in every level, for the matter of fact. It wasn't like one level, it was every level. The last level that they give us is another snow level. It's basically the exact same level as the first level, but it's kind of weird because you start off as Cortex, which is cool. We get to play as different characters in this game, and playing as Cortex is a completely different experience. I really enjoyed how it felt. It took me a long time to get used to the controls. For some reason, I kept messing up the shoot and the dash button. Sometimes I would try to shoot and then I'd click the dash button by accident and kill myself. Sometimes I'd try to dash and I'd click the shoot button by accident and kill myself. But that's just a me problem. That was just me having trouble remembering what button was dash and what button was shoot. The platforming they made for Cortex is completely different than Crash. It's all really challenging and fun. I hope it continues on through the rest of the game. I love some of the segments that they had where it was just like, you have to, like, right at the beginning, if you're trying to 100% and get the gem, you gotta like dash through like a million like really challenging puzzles and then go all the way back, which was really hard but like cool, and I enjoyed the challenge. And there's not a checkpoint box for a long time after that, so if you fuck that up, like even after completing it, you gotta do it again. So getting the gem on some of those levels was especially difficult. And after completing all of that, we make our way to a cutscene which shows us back in the first level that we played with Crash again. And I was confused at first because like I thought my game froze, but then I realized, oh, I'm playing as Crash now. But didn't we just play this? So what's going on? And then I continue forward. I'm like, oh, okay, the boxes are different, the enemy placements are different, and I just kind of started to realize that this level is a more difficult version of the original level, and it was more difficult, but I was able to get through it. Overall, I beat every level 100%, mostly. We'll get back to that in a second. I also want to mention that this probably isn't going to be an issue in the full game, but in the demo, they did not do a good job describing controls to you. There's no, like, you press the start button and, like, controls pop up. That would have been nice for if someone wanted to play this game and they never played Crash before. Like, yeah, you'd kind of figure out the basic stuff pretty easily, but it'd still be nice to have some sort of idea of controls. And even me, someone who's played all of the Crash games, 100% in most of them, I had troubles at certain points. The main one that I can remember off the top of my head is in Dino Dash, whatever it was, sorry. The first segment where you go down a vine, you immediately have to swing down under the vine to get a box. But the game doesn't explain to you at all how to do that. So I immediately missed that first box, meaning I had to kill myself. Because there was no inclination from the game on what button I had to press to do that. And the only reason I was able to quickly figure it out was my fiance was sitting next to me, and she was like, hey, try pressing this button, because when I played Sunset Overdrive, that's what button that was. So I'm like, okay, I've never played that game either. Well, I played like it for like 10 minutes, so I don't remember any of the controls from that game. And so I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. So we went through a second time and I pressed it and the button worked. So obviously it takes some controls from other games, but just to kind of expect your player base to have played other games or to know those controls right off the bat is kind of, it's not cool of you, I guess I would say. I didn't know the controls, and I felt cheated on that death, specifically missing that box and dying because I couldn't figure out how to get underneath something, as I was spamming all the buttons trying to figure out what button was the one I needed to press. That issue showed up a couple times throughout the demo, but like I said, hopefully that won't be an issue in the full game. Hopefully there'll be, plenty of like pop-up tutorials beforehand in the earlier levels that will explain all of that stuff that they just didn't put in this demo because it wasn't worth the time. I think that's kind of it. I have to say, I played through each level multiple times. I loved playing through them every time. I got all of the gems in the first level. That means I got all 3 Wumpa Fruit checkpoints. I got the gem for all the boxes. I got the hidden gem, and I got the no death tape, which gives you another gem. I did all of that on that level and the second level. But on the third level, I want you guys to post in the comments, because I can't find the last gem in the third level. I don't know. So when you look, if you pause and you look at the gem placement for the gem I'm missing is the one that would be for the death tape in the demo. But I can't find a death tape anywhere on the last level. So I'm assuming that either it doesn't exist and that's not in the demo yet, or if there's something I'm missing somewhere. But I just can't find the last gem in the last level, which would make sense to be the no death tape. But I can't find it. I've gone through plenty of times. I've beat the whole level without dying, and I can't get that gem. So if you guys have any ideas, post them in the comments below. Thank you so much. Give me your thoughts on Crash 4 down below as well. I am super hyped for this game. I will be covering the shit out of it when it releases. I'll be streaming the entire thing when it releases, so remember to go follow me on twitch.tv/badmanreviews. That's where I will be playing the game when it launches. It's going to be a super fun, awesome time. Remember, I will also be posting on my Twitter when I go live over there. If you don't have a Twitch account and you don't want to follow me or make one to follow me, just keep an eye on my Twitter or my YouTube community page. I will be posting on there when I go live, but I'll probably be going live as soon as the game comes out, which will be awesome. Yeah, I think that's about it. I will see you all in the next video.